All right. So at this point, we should be pretty familiar with the various math operations: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. There are other operations, but those are the ones we focus on working with fractions. What I want to talk about is how we sort of evolve that from simply just tackling a math problem in front of us and saying, ah, yes, I know how to add fractions, and say, how do we actually use this in the math world? And that involves a little bit of a conversation about math language. So I have some technical sort of math terms, the strict terms that go along with sum, difference, product, quotient, that go along with add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But those aren't always present when we see, for lack of a better way of describing it, word problems or story problems. Like, we need to be thinking about, like, all right, we've got these operations, but how do we actually use them? So the best way to know how to use operations instead of just following sort of a bunch of steps is to have a really good understanding of what's going on when we multiply fractions and divide fractions and add fractions. And I think that we're there, but sometimes it helps to just have an extra little step talking about what are words that we might see in a problem. So I'm going to make kind of a cheat sheet here of what are some other words that we might see that are kind of pointing us towards the correct operation. And then I'll leave these up here and we'll see how they might look in a real math problem. Okay, so adding and subtracting, I'm hoping you'll see a lot of these going back to when you learned how to add and subtract as a little kindergarten first grader. But just as kind of a reminder of what they might still look like in kind of when working with fractions. Sometimes with adding, you'll see total, which is also fairly mathematical, but also increase, sometimes just more or both, at least when you're adding two different things. Similarly, we have difference here for subtraction. You'll see kind of minus, which is, again, fairly mathematical. Less is a big one. And decrease, something getting smaller. I was going to write take away. Well, I'm going to write it down anyway, just in case. I don't see that happening a lot in my math problems, but who knows? Maybe you'll find it somewhere. Those should feel a little bit like review, but for the multiply and divide ones, there's a couple specific ones that really leap out at me. So we do know we're looking for a product, and you will see the language if they say times. Obviously, that means we're multiplying. But you'll also see by. If it's like 1/2 by 1/3, they're encouraging you to multiply those two numbers. And sometimes you'll either see lots, but definitely a big one for us is this idea of. I don't know if underlining it helped there. I'm going to get rid of that. Of is groups of thing, lots of things. So of is a big multiply word. And last but not least, for divide, I don't know if you'll see quotient a whole lot. I don't like what is the quotient, I suppose. That doesn't lend itself to story problems as well as sums and difference especially. But there's quotient. But what we've been talking about is a lot of fits into or goes into that idea of putting things into groups. So this is the big one that I want us to be paying attention to when we're listening to, like, even if it's not in the problem, but we might think about how could we restate the problem to ourselves. Into is going to be a magic word there. And it's a little tricky, so it's worth mentioning here. Sometimes they might ask questions about how many times something fits in something else. And that one's tricky for the obvious reason that, like, how many times versus this times that is telling us to do two different operations. All right, so our first problem is how many times do you add 1/4 of a cup of sugar to get 2 cups? And again, my conversation today is about strategy and planning. It's not really necessarily about the computation and how to answer these things. It's sort of picking a box, picking which one of these things makes the most sense, because ideally we've already got the skills to solve that part. So one thing that's worth considering, and it's not my favorite strategy, but it definitely has its time and place, is just to say, well, what if I did all of them? So if I added them, I'd get 2 1/4. If I subtracted 1/4 away, I'd get 1 3/4. If I multiplied them and said, what is 1/4 of 2, I'd get a half. And if I divided them, I would get 8, because 2 over 1, I would get 2 times 4 over 1. So that's where my 8 would come in. So looking at those answers, sometimes it can help to say, like, which one of them makes sense with what the problem is asking? All right, then we got to kind of sometimes visually break down what the problem is asking. So imagine there's a big bowl and I'm supposed to add sugar to it, and I need 2 cups of sugar. But the only thing I have is this little quarter cup object. Okay, well, I scoop out a quarter cup, I put it in there. That's not enough. I go back and I get another quarter cup, I put it in there. Well, now I'm up to half a cup. I'm nowhere near 2 cups. I got to keep going back. How many of those would I do? Well, then you got to say, do I do that a little more than twice? Do I do that a little less than twice? Do I do that half of a time? Or do I do that 8 times? All right. Here's where I think we start to see, like, oh, I get it. We would need to do that 8 times. And even though there's language in the problem, like times and add, that don't scream division at me, sometimes simply by looking at what all the possible answers are, can kind of lead you towards, well, I don't know maybe why this is division, but I know that this is the answer that I want. So obviously I should have divided to solve it. Again, I'd rather that not be what we do every time, but when push comes to shove, especially if you're kind of torn between 2 of them, like, I don't know if this is multiply or divide, try and do both of them and say, which one makes sense with what the problem is asking? And obviously, what I am gearing towards today is I specifically talked about how many times, and then we see it starting this sentence, how many times. So that would have been the clue we're looking for, but I thought it was an interesting case in what happens if we just try them all? Well, one of them will hopefully make a lot of sense, and the others won't. All right, so here's our next problem to take a look at. I literally took this picture off my computer screen. Fancy, I know. But I thought it was a good problem. It involves feeding cats, which I hate, but by and large, the idea is good. I think it's easy to sort of conceptualize what's happening here, what's going on in the problem, and hopefully we can use some math language to help us out. So, a kitten eats 1/4 cup of cat food. I get that. A cat in the same household eats 6 times as much, so it's 6 times as big. How much food does the cat eat, the grown cat? So if we envision our little kitten, that's what kittens look like. There we go. It's mowing down on a 1/4 size bowl. We need to say, like, well, 6 times as much. So imagine the cat would need 6 of those. 6 of those little 1/4 bowls, and then the ginormous cat at the end. Gordo. Here's his fangs, because cats are evil. All right, that's how much he would eat, the whole thing. 6 times as much. Again, we can play around with, well, how much food is there? Well, sometimes drawing the picture, if you literally need to draw it out, but that can help me model what it is that's going on, because I think that I can see, like, oh, I'm going to take this one and this one and this one. I could add all those things up. I could say 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. Like, he eats a 1/4 here, he eats a 1/4 here, and then there, and then there, and then there, and then. Again, my previous strategy of just trying out all of the problems, I could do that. Again, we'd end up with something similar to, it would involve a lot of work, but I'd end up with 6 1/4. I'd end up with 5 3/4. I may get these wrong. I would end up with 24, or I'd end up with 1 1/2. One of those makes a lot of sense based on my picture. The rest of them don't. So even without any computation, just pausing for a second and saying, what is the problem asking? Drawing a picture of the cats can help me see, like, oh, 4/4, that's 1. And then here's 2/4, that's my half right here. Oh yeah, it was looking for me to multiply. It's a multiplication problem. It's 6 times, there's my magic word, as much. Again, I could have done that as an addition problem, but not by simply adding 6 times, or 6 plus 1/4, because this answer is not close, this answer is not close, this answer is not close. So again, I encourage you, you may not have to draw it out, but thinking through what is the problem looking for and how can I model this, allows me to sort of come up with an estimate, if you were, of like, I have a good sense of what is logical in this problem. I could see a cat eating 1.5 cups of cat food. They don't eat 24 cups of cat food. Well, this one might. Rah! But ideally, I understand that that's not a good idea. I'll be a little more straightforward with this last example here, just so that the video doesn't go on so long. But we have this idea of like, Sam can make a sign in 3/4 of an hour, Trish can make one in 2/3 of an hour, and Shanty can make one in 3/5 of an hour. Okay. Ooh, alrighty, we're getting a lot of numbers, feeling daunting, but it's actually asking 3 different problems. That's part of it. So let's just focus on Sam. Sam can make a sign in 3/4 of an hour. How many signs can he make in 4 hours? Again, starting with a logical estimate, I could say like, makes about a sign an hour. So in 4 hours, my answer should be vaguely near the number 4. So that if I get something like in the last one, 24, I know that's wrong. I know that can't be it. Since it takes him a little less than an hour to make a sign, I would guess that in given 4 hours, he should use that extra time each hour to make another one. So it should be a little more than 4. That's my hope. But I'll skip straight to the point here, which is how many are we creating here? We're making signs in each hour. All right. So this is saying how many times can that 3/4 go into, I'm down here next to divide, go into 4. So the way that I'm describing this is not, interestingly, 3/4 of 4 hours. It is saying how many times can I get 3/4 of an hour to fit in 4 hours. All right. So to put my kind of computation hat on, I might say 3, 4 divided into chunks of 3/4. My model tells me I'm going to write that one as a fraction. I'm going to flip this guy upside down, and I'm going to get 16/3. That is 5 1/3. Oops, that's 3, sorry. I said this was going to be a little more than 4. 5 1/3 is a little more than 4, so at least makes sense with my estimate. But you might be asking, like, I still thought it looked like a multiplication problem. Well, let's try it out. This is the perfect example of like, well, then let's see. 4 times 3/4 would be 12/4. 3. If I multiplied them together and followed the rules, I would have gotten 3. My estimate, my logical brain said it was more than 4. That's what proves the multiplication doesn't work. All right. So hopefully we're starting to see a lot of different things for us to think about as we tackle these word problems. All right, here are your 2 problems to solve and send to me. Notice the directions, show your work, meaning computationally, what would you write out? Write a number sentence. I can put that on here if that helps. Number sentence. And a model. A model is a picture. Doesn't have to involve any cats. But at the very least, some sort of graphical representation of what these fractions would look like. And am I repeating them? Am I subtracting them? What's going on here? But a model that goes along with each one. Again, you can take a picture of this and draw your answers right underneath, or you could just start on a whole new piece of paper. But A and B, each one needs your work, meaning 2 fractions that you are add, subtracting, multiplying, dividing together. Okay. And a model, a picture representing what do you see happening here. If you do it online, colors can help in differentiating what does the 2/3 look like versus the 1/6 look like. It's not a requirement, but you might think about how you could label to make sure that your model is clear. And colors are sometimes an easy way to do that. Have fun. Send me your answers.